Managing projects is a core responsibility in procurement, but today I want to talk about going beyond the usual checklists and Gantt charts. I've seen countless projects over the course of my 30 years as a procurement consultant, some that soared and others that stumbled. And one clear pattern has emerged. The most successful project leaders were not the ones buried in spreadsheets. They were out there, visible, present, practicing what used to be called management by walking around. A project, by definition, is a temporary initiative. It has a clear beginning, a defined end, and ideally a measurable goal that goes beyond the day-to-day. And precisely because it's temporary, managing a project is as much about managing people and context as it is about deliverables. Now let's focus on the role of the project leader. Because while team members often remain anchored in the departments, contributing part-time, the project leader usually rotates out of a stable line role and dedicates themselves fully. And that shift changes the dynamics. Here's what I've seen. Brilliant project leaders who saved their companies, who delivered high-stakes results under enormous pressure, only to be cast aside once the project ended. No recognition, no promotion, no path forward. That's just demoralizing. It's destructive. It tells everyone else watching, don't raise your hand for the next big thing. So if you ever asked to lead a project, especially one of strategic importance, do yourself a favor. Negotiate upfront. Make sure that your contribution is valued not just with words, but with concrete commitments. That might be a promotion, a transfer to a desired market, or a clearly defined bonus. But do it before the project kicks off, not after you've already proven yourself. Because by then, leadership may have changed and your leverage may have vanished. Now let's talk about two key practices that I've seen separate good project leaders from great ones. The first is co-location. Yes, remote work can function. I've run successful projects during the pandemic without ever meeting the team in person. But let me be clear, the most effective projects I've seen all had a physical space at their core. A large project room with shared desks, whiteboards and sticky notes. A space where the project leader is in the center and even the part-time contributors spend significant time. These spaces become engines of collaboration. The flow of informal conversations, the shared jokes, the instant problem solving. None of that can be replicated on Zoom. Research backs this up. A study by Harvard Business Review found that teams who were physically co-located completed projects 32% faster and with fewer misunderstandings. So if you want speed, cohesion and momentum, bring people together. The second practice is communication discipline, what I call the project audit trail. Set a weekly rhythm of updates to top management. Use consistent formats. A one-pager works wonders. List KPIs, progress roadblocks, and requests for help. Keep it short but regular. This way, even if executives miss a few meetings or if leadership changes midstream, your project leaves a trace. A story they can follow and support. And here's another benefit. A regular cadence gives your stakeholders confidence. They know you're on it. You're not just delivering, you're steering. I've seen this make all the difference in high-pressure environments. Now let me loop back to visibility. One of the best project leaders I've ever worked with wasn't the smartest person in the room, but he was everywhere. On the shop floor, in supplier meetings, at lunch with engineers, and in finance check-ins. He knew what was going on, not because someone sent him a slide deck, but because he walked around. He asked questions, he listened, and in doing so, he built trust across the board. I've always believed that procurement projects, especially in automotive or other engineering-heavy industries, aren't just about reaching technical targets. They're about creating alignment, building momentum, and keeping people focused, even when the going gets tough. And that's a human task, not just a procedural one. So let me close with this. If you are asked to lead a project, see it as a privilege, but don't walk in blindly. Get your recognition. Get the recognition you deserve from start. Build a team culture anchored in presence, co-location and trust. And communicate clearly, regularly and with purpose. That's how you manage projects, not just to hit the target, but to make a mark. Thanks for watching. I'm Christian Schuh and this has been Procurement in the Park.